1. We are live, Jay. But it's okay. Take your time. Okay, take your time. All right. Okay, so Jay,
Sorry, I just needed to change the.
it's all
I
right.
decided I'm going to change the what do you call it the mount
Yeah.
so it's not
Okay.
so. The other one's I'm using a switch pod, but I was using a switch pod too high.
Yeah.
Too high. I'm not comfortable with it. All right, there we go.
Okay.
That's much better. What's going on,
Excellent.
Hoon? How are you?
Not much. Here. Hello and welcome back. I'm here with my buddy Jay from Ono Coffee. So that is your studio, right? The behind you. That is
Why
your
am I
coffee
getting
studio.
some?
Hold on. So Jay's having. Oh, there we go. Okay. So is that your studio? Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was getting a little bit. I don't know.
Okay. It's okay.
Now I think it's all right.
I think we are back to normal. So is that
Is
your
it all right?
studio, right? Yeah. So
Maybe it's
so that's so that's the where you're doing the live streaming every morning?
Gosh, I
Jay,
am losing.
hold on. So Jay is in and out. Okay, hold on. It's all right. Take your time. If you are just joining us, we are talking to Jay from Owner Coffee. And then Jay, can you hear us? Okay, we are losing him here. Okay. And we're gonna talk about
You're kind of like it's kind of like I can barely. You're not. The video's kind of stuck, but like you're kind of
okay,
just bang, bang,
okay,
bang. You're gonna talk about. You're kind of like. It's kind of like
okay,
I can barely. You're not. The
okay.
video's
So
okay, so here's the strange thing. I'm looking at us on
yeah,
this laptop here, and it looks like it's running fairly smooth.
okay. So there are five
Okay, so
second
here's the
delay,
strange
5 or 6 second delay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
But I mean, it
one
looks.
about
I'm not getting the same. I'm going to stop
okay,
that so I don't get confused. All
okay.
right. So look,
So
I think maybe
I
we're
think
okay
we are
now.
back. I think we are back now. Okay, we are. I think we are back. By the way, if you are just joining us, I'm talking to Jay from Owner Coffee, and so here's the thing about live streaming. If you and I we are live, but people are watching right now or listening, that's about 5 second delay. Okay,
Okay.
so anyway, so it's not truly live, but it's live close enough. Anyways, the reason why I like to have Jay on this afternoon, and man, talking about crazy price of green beans.
Oh
Did
yeah,
you hear about?
crazy,
Uh, yeah,
crazy.
and you. Okay, so how's the? Okay, by the way, so I do have a link on my description box. So if you click that link, you're gonna see it's called Best of Panama. Okay, the Best of Panama. That's the auction price,
Oh yeah, there it is.
and also they give you the highest bidder as well. So Jay, okay, so I'm gonna ask you something. You say the 20 kilogram sold for $200,000. All right.
Right. 200,000.
Okay, so is that entire lot or just on one lot?
So that's well. Let me.
Okay.
What I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm using a separate network here, but I'm still getting a
Okay.
lot of
Okay.
issues hearing you. Let me go
Okay.
outside, and I'm going to switch to. I think that'll. If I'm outside, I'll get better reception.
Okay. So we are here in the J. We are having some technical difficulty right now. So hopefully Jay is gonna come back here. Anyway, so if you are just joining us, make sure I have a link on the description box. They give you a chart. Okay, the highest price bidder. So having said that, is that 20 kilo? So that's the available lot or that's the entire lot?
So the 20. So what you're looking at on the Best of Panama website,
Yeah.
there's two separate auctions. One
Yep.
is for wash coffees. The other's for
Yep.
natural coffees. Right. I'm
That's
trying
right.
to pull it up here, but if you look in the, I haven't looked at it in a few days, but basically it says the lot, the farm name,
Yep.
which is
Kaizen.
so
Yeah,
Kaizen
Kaizen
is
yeah.
so
Wash.
how this all works is basically the Best of Panama has a bunch of producers that submit washed and natural
Yep.
coffees for competition to be the best of the country, and there
Yep.
is typically a local a group of national judges that will
Hmm.
vet the entire field and
Okay.
then whittle it down to to a number of select coffees, and then they'll bring an international panel of judges to actually determine the actual number one, two, three, four, five,
Okay.
with based on score. And so that's kind of what's happened here. And so, and this is a practice that is actually done by the Cup of Excellence.
Okay.
It's done by different taste, quote unquote, taste of harvest competitions that are
Mhm.
held in different countries every year. And they rank the coffees based on the qualitative score.
Okay.
And then a lot of them will now have auctions, so people can come in and buy their favorite lot of coffee.
Okay.
Now, the number one lot of natural and washed
Yep.
is a buying group led by Saza Coffee from Japan.
Okay.
Saza, and I still haven't found the results.
Yeah. So I have the result. So Saja and also Pebble Coffee, Simple Goat, Cafe Goat, and also Eternity Coffee as well. There's a lot of group. Is that group buying?
Yeah, so let me just I'm going to go to your link so that I
Yeah.
can see, because I'm trying to go through the website and it's not
Yep.
so easy. Okay, so let's see here. The number one is Kaizen.
Yep.
Well, that's the farm. So
Yep.
the coffee name is Kaizen, 95.5 points. You see the weight is 20 kilograms. So the lot that is being offered is 20 kilos. And
Oh,
as you
that's
can
it.
see, yeah. So
So
that's the entire lot.
that is
And
the entire lot. 20 kilo.
yeah. So that's all the
Wow.
coffee that's available from this Kaizen lot number one.
Wow. Okay.
And it's sold at auction
Yep.
for $10,002 per kilo. So that's
Per kilo. Okay. Yep.
just under $5,000 a pound.
Yep. Yep.
And total value, of course, is $200,000 for the 20
Okay.
kilos.
Okay.
And total bids that were bid by the
Hmm.
different parties involved. And I think the total bids is let's say one party is involved in the bidding and they bid 100 times, that goes to the 4,399.
Okay.
It's not that there's 4,399
Bit. Okay. Got it.
bidders,
Okay.
individual bidders. But as you
Okay.
can see, the highest bidder, the last one,
Yeah.
Saza, is listed. Grand Cru from China,
Hmm.
Pebbles, Cafe Goat,
Yep.
Eternity Coffee, Paradise Coffee Roasters is listed.
Yep.
Paradise is out. And so how I know about this coffee is that one of my good friends is Miguel Meza, who's the owner of
Okay.
Paradise Coffee. And so we were talking the other day, and I was like, dude, you bought this coffee? And so that coffee is available. Well, it's actually it is available, and technically maybe not available. And
Okay.
what I mean by
Let.
that,
Uh-huh.
mhm,
So is that Miguel from Paradise Coffee? He's in California, right?
actually, he's in Hilo, Hawaii.
Hawaii. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yes. And so Paradise is originally a company that his parents started
Okay.
probably about 20 some years ago in Minneapolis,
Okay.
which is when I first met him back in
Hmm.
2002, 2003.
Hmm.
And they were there. And then eventually the family sold the company to another
Okay.
owner who had the company for quite a few years. And in that interim, Miguel had moved to Hawaii to
Okay.
get closer to origin. He's always been someone
Hmm.
that really was interested of origin and producing
Hmm.
coffee. And so he worked for a bunch of places there, really got a lot of experience and really was experimental.
Hmm.
And he started his own thing there eventually, meaning that he was doing more exporting
Uh-huh.
of coffees from Hawaii to the rest of the world, as well as working with different producers there, like Rusty's Hawaiian
Hmm.
Coffee and Hula Daddies and a whole bunch of other stuff. Then after a while, he bought Paradise Roasters back from the owners that bought it from his
Okay.
parents, was maintaining operations in both Minneapolis and built operations in Hilo.
Okay.
And then I think during the pandemic, after the pandemic, he just kind of concentrated down,
Okay.
shut down Minneapolis operations, and really just been focusing on doing stuff in Hilo. And Miguel is really an interesting guy because, like, I just last saw him. Well,
Mm,
I saw him
mm,
last year, but I saw
mhm.
him in Hawaii back in 2002, almost 2 years ago. I was there, and I went by his shop. He's got this small
Mhm.
roasting facility, But the guy is nuts. The guy is nuts. He's like out there. You walk into the workshop and he's got these racks, these drying racks indoors. They're like, imagine like you stack up a bunch of like, what are they called? African drying beds. But
Okay.
instead of having one bed, you're having them multiple stacked high and inside your workspace. And he's processing coffee in his like workshop. And I was like, what is going on here, dude? And so he's very progressive. He's always been very
Okay.
progressive. So it's always been a pleasure to like see what he's doing and know him, because he's one of the people. He's like Christopher Ferron, very forward thinking in the business, right? They're always thinking about the next level stuff, and it's really, really interesting to see. So we're talking about it, and I was like, dude, you just bought this coffee? Like, what are you doing with this? What are you going to do with this coffee? It's $10,000. And he's like, well, I've got some customers that are interested. So he's cultivated a customer base that was like, and he was telling me that one of his customers was like, look, if you can get the coffee, we'll pay $5,000 for it. And I was like, what? $5,000? So he was selling some of the coffee that he bought from his portion of the lot for $300 a gram. And he sold all of it. He sold all of it.
Is that gram? Is that gram or?
Yeah, gram. The
gram.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. I mean, because it's $10,000.
Okay, let me ask you: is it $300 per gram for the roasted or green beans?
That'll be for roasted. That'll be for roasted.
Oh,
so he's gonna roast the coffee and then
it makes
sell
sense.
It to his
Exactly. Yes, it makes sense, right? Because so let's say 15-gram dose for the pour over. Dang, $1,500.
Yeah. Oh, it's more than that, because 15 grams is 15 times 300.
Yeah, there's 15. No, yeah,
it's like $4,500. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, $4,500. Yeah, 15 times 300. Yeah, $4,500.
Yeah. So I mean, it's wildly expensive.
So $4,500 for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's
I think he's only got like maybe 2 or 3 people that like that, but in this case, that's all you really need, right? That's
all you need. So
now he did tell me that he was going to do this thing where I'm trying to find the recipe for it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to find the message that we've got like long message streams here.
So how many grams did he get?
Here we go. So he said he's selling the bags 20 grams nitrogen flushed, which works out to about 300 grams, $300 per gram.
Okay.
And I think it's $6,500 for the bag.
Oh wow! How many grams in it? $6,500 bag.
Okay, so for each of Saza and their group got the number one lots of both the natural and the washed.
Yep. Okay.
So they've spent nearly $500,000 on.
Yes. Yep.
On 40 kilos of coffee. Okay.
Yep.
But so his portion, and Miguel as Paradise is probably the smaller. He's a smaller of the group, right? So he says that he received 500 grams of each, so half a kilo.
500 grams.
Yeah.
Man, so so let's put that in perspective. So each bag, so 16-ounce bag, right? 16-ounce bag is what? How many grams is that?
453.3 grams.
Yeah. So 450 grams. So pretty much one bag of coffee. That's it. That's all he got.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Wow.
One just slightly over a pound of coffee.
Yeah, just slightly. Oh.
I mean, well, it's just slightly over $10,000 a pound.
Yeah.
Oh, $10,000 a kilo.
Kilo, yeah.
So he's paying let's say $5,000. So he's paying $10,000 for 2 pounds.
Yep. That's it. Yeah, the 2.2 pound is a kilo anyway. But I mean, we are talking about the green beans, right? You gotta, once you roast it, there's weight loss as well.
That's correct. So about he's 10%. Expecting to have 15% weight loss.
15%, okay. He doesn't gonna go light roast on that one. Save some weight.
Yeah, I guess not. I
Okay, so
didn't ask him what he was planning to how he's planning to roast it, but
okay, so how are you gonna roast that, Jay? Goodness, I'd be
if
so
I
nervous
was to
about
roast it,
roasting.
well, I mean, if I was roasting it, I would probably do it light because geishas
Yeah,
people that like
exactly.
geishas really want to experience that florality, that really light character of the coffee, that tea like character. So I think that's probably how I would roast it.
What about sample? You know, if I was him, I like to use a just sample roaster, right? Just high quality sample roaster instead of, yeah. I mean, what kind of roaster can you use? Such
Well, I mean,
small amount.
I mean, I imagine. So what he's going to do? He's sold. What did he tell me? He sold like 400 grams of that
Okay,
500 grams,
okay,
and I think he's planning to do the tasting events in Hawaii so that other
okay,
people can try the coffee. So if you follow him on Facebook or on
okay,
Instagram, he's probably going to have some kind of follow Paradise Roasters on Instagram.
okay.
They may be having some events where, if you want, you could. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to charge for it, but you could fly out there and
Sure.
get a taste of this
The
two hundred
incredible,
thousand dollar
yeah.
coffee.
Okay, so let me. So how's the group works, Jay? So the highest bidder is a group, right? So how's the group works? It's gonna be their pre, their determined before the auction or after the auction, or how's the bidder works?
Yeah, usually the people usually the bidders know each other. The people that are
Okay.
the principals of the company know each other that
Yep.
are making that decision to go for it, and they all get together or they talk at least and say, hey,
Yep.
let's do a buying group,
Okay.
and then they will typically establish some level of parameters
Yep.
because really it's just one person that's actually doing the physical bidding.
Sure.
So they kind of have to develop physical parameters as to like, okay, we will, like, if I'm part of the buying group, I can only go so high, right?
Yep.
um
Oh, okay.
because
So
you have to know your financial restraints.
so second lot, right? So number two. Okay, it's called Olympus. Olympus. So
Oh
number
yes.
one was the 95.5 as the cup score. Number two was 95.13, slightly lower, but still
Okay.
in 95 range. It's only $70,000 per 20 kilo.
Wait, oh,
Man,
you mean the number two? Oh yeah, the
number
Olympus.
two. So $200,000 for number one. Number two was $70,000. So $130,000 cheaper, but about the same scoring, right? 95.5 versus 95.13.
Yes, very close score
Very, very
wise.
close, but huge price difference there.
Huge. I could buy a. You could buy what? You buy like a. You could buy a Range Rover for that much.
Okay, but so I guess people are buying for the what? Just to do it, right? For the number one spot. That's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
mental.
there's always going to be like. So the question really that you're asking also is that
Yeah,
is this coffee experience worth $250,000?
exactly. Yes,
Probably not.
I know, but
Right. I mean, but you are getting a coffee that has been vetted by
yep,
coffee experts as the very best this country has offered for
yep.
this year.
This
So
year.
there's the cachet of that. Some bidders or some companies just want to
Okay.
have the number one at all costs. Like there's this one guy that I know that goes to this country in this Latin country. I won't say which
Yep.
one just because I don't want to
Okay.
like out him, but
Okay.
he not that he's shy about this either, but he goes to this
Okay.
one auction and he will buy the number one lot. That's
Hmm.
what he does. Whatever the cost, he will go as far as he needs to go to get it, outbidding
Number one
everyone
lot.
else. So
Okay.
there's always going to be some amount of that at play. That some companies just want to have the number one copy from
Number one.
whatever
Yep.
auction because
You know what?
it is bragging rights for them too.
Yeah. Looking at the number three and number four. Okay.
Mhm.
Number three. No, that's the Korean coffee shop there.
Oh,
Both
Ruli
nine.
Coffee. Mhm.
Yeah. Both 94 score. 94, 94.63, 94.13 is only, yeah, they're the, man, 50,000 and 36,000. Man, so let me ask you, so why this coffee shop wants to buy that? Just because, or what do you
Yeah,
think?
I do think that a lot of it is a just because. I mean,
Okay.
coffee people want to be able to offer the best.
Okay.
right? They want to find the best, and by buying auction lots, you're able to offer a coffee that is noted as some of the best from that
Hmm.
country and perhaps the world, not just because you said so, but also
Yep.
because somebody, other judges have said this. So there's some level of cachet with that.
Yep.
And no doubt these are must all be beautiful coffees, probably all geishas, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all geisha. Yeah, that's Panama. Yep.
So, and there's a little bit of controversy that's happened
Hmm.
around this particular competition earlier on. The
Hmm.
Best of Panama organization came out maybe a month or two ago and said
Okay.
that basically they came out with a statement that said they disqualified a number of
Yeah.
entries this year because the national judges, discovered that these were not washed and not natural coffees. They were like
Okay.
co-fermented coffees and things like
Oh.
that. And this competition does not accommodate
Wow.
those
Interesting.
kind of coffees.
Okay.
Um, Partially because in the whole coffee world, there's when I started in the business, there were a number of people, and there still are today, that
Mhm.
have this belief that all natural processed coffees are defective.
Okay.
Right? That's
Oh.
just their belief. They think that natural
Okay.
fermentation is a defect that should be driven out of the business,
Okay.
and they maintain a hardcore stance on that. And
Okay.
it's I kind of equate this stance against like co-ferments to be of that similar mentality, right?
Got it. Yep.
Um, in this competition, we see that there's a washed and natural category.
Yep.
Perhaps there should be alternative processing method
Sure.
categories. Um, but part of that is I think that a lot of people are so excited and taken away by these co-fermented coffees. Like, let's say if
Yep.
you do co-ferment peach, and you get this, you tell them, oh, it's co-fermented peach, and then you get these peachy notes
Yep.
that judges are going to
Yeah.
be
That's what I had.
swayed
Yep.
by that, right? And give
Yes.
them
Yep.
higher scores, which, if you look at the people that are getting 200, half a, $250,000, if they no longer get the number one spot,
Yes.
they no longer get the $250,000, right? So there's
Uh,
there's also this financial side of things that has to be considered in the discussion.
Man, I'm just mind blowing by the. I mean, 20 kilo is not much. Okay, it's not much. So 20 kilo is about 1 kilo is 2.2 pound. So about 40 or 48 pound. That's it.
48 pounds. That's it. That's it.
2.2. Yeah, no, no, no. 44 pounds. Yeah,
Yeah,
2.2.
44.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
44
it's
pounds.
it's not it's not a lot. It's not a lot.
44 pounds is going to cost you $200,000.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
here's
uh,
something to think about also, right? Like, we're looking at a per pound price of what,
about
10,
5,000.
about
Yeah.
$5,000.
Yeah.
To give you like a little bit of a not perspective, but a little bit of like perspective on the history of this
Sure.
competition, right? When the
Hmm.
Best of Panama really, when geisha first came
Yep.
to the ear of the industry
Okay.
was in 2005.
Oh,
And my mentor in the business was part of the buying group that bought the Panama Esmeralda
okay.
from Hacienda Esmeralda, right? The geisha from,
Okay. Okay.
and they paid what was then, back then people were like, holy crap, what are you spending? That's an exorbitant
Hmm.
amount of money. It's utterly ridiculous that you're spending this amount of money per pound for coffee. And that geisha in 2005
Okay.
cost
Um,
my mentor $21.75
per lot.
per
Oh,
pound.
per pound. Per pound.
Per
That's
pound,
it.
yeah. I don't remember how big the lot was. I mean, it was fairly sizable then
Per
because
pound.
I got a bunch of it. But
Wow.
um, yeah, but then in
That's it.
2005, people were like, "Holy moly, $21! Who's paying that? That's craziness!" And now we're well more than 1,000 times than that.
You know
Or 100
why?
times.
I mean, so I think a lot of Asian coffee shops getting into specialty coffee recent years.
Oh yes,
China, Korea, especially China and Korea, Japan as well. But man, they don't shy about spending obscene amount of money.
no, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
Like, one of the things that as a green buyer, that when you go
Yep.
around to different parts of the world, is that And this is true of just going to farms or
Yep.
going to auction. Is that as an American buyer, you know that the Asian buyers are going to get the better stuff
Yes. Yep.
because they're willing to pay way more. Like for example, I remember we're sitting in El Salvador one year with a
Okay.
bunch of buyers, and the farm that we were visiting, which is a wonderful farm, and I had been doing business with them for a few years
Hmm.
by that point.
Yep.
Nice quality red
Hmm.
bourbon, really nice stuff,
Okay.
and they're asking $2.35 a pound for washed
Okay.
red bourbon
Okay.
Arabica. Very, probably like 84, 83, 84.
Yeah.
And the guys were balking. They were like, "Why are we going to pay 235 when
Hmm.
tomorrow I could fly down to like Coca in Colombia and
Okay.
buy the
Okay.
same quality level 83,
Hmm.
84 for
Hmm.
$1.90?"
Oh.
Right. So this is like, so for me, it's always been like,
Mm.
well, to me, it's a relationship thing as well, right? That
Yep.
we want to have relations. We want our farmers to continue.
Hmm.
It's not, but what I mean to say by all this is that American buyers, American green buyers, are always concerned with the price because the price of coffee in the United States really has to be low,
Yep.
right? Like if you charge people $5 for like a 12-ounce brewed coffee, they'd be upset, right? Like if you went there to like any coffee shop and said, "Hey, can I get not a pour over, just a
Yeah.
regular,
Yeah.
batch brew coffee?" People kind of would be upset for a $5 12-ounce, right?
Sure.
So there's such a pressure on buyers and roasters to try to control costs in that respect so that they can keep it affordable. Whereas in Asia, especially you go to like
No.
different coffee shops there, Seoul or China, even definitely Japan, you're paying considerably more
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
like if I go to Cafe de l'Hambre and
Hmm.
if I think about what I'm paying, 800 to 10,000, 800 to 1,000 or 1,100 yen
Okay.
for a cup of coffee that's 18 grams and maybe 80 to 100 mils, it's a lot of money. Right? It's like, whoa, that's kind of pricey. It's like $8 to $10 for this tiny cup of coffee. Where so it's just a different world. It's just a different world where they operate in, and I remember asking some people before. I was like, like this Chinese company was buying these like crazy
Mhm.
lots that were like
Yep.
super expensive. I was like, what do they do with this coffee? Like, I don't know how I would utilize it. Right? Like, I don't have the client base that is ready to spend $6,000 for 20 grams of coffee.
You know
But
what? I don't
evidently,
know. I don't know about Korea. I don't know about China, but in Korea, there are so many cafes out there. I mean,
mm,
cafes every corner, pretty much. So you need to be the best of the best to attract people and get your name out. Only way to do that is, hey, I have the best coffee in the world.
yeah,
Okay,
I hear you. I hear you on that. I
you
can
know.
see that because, like, they were telling me this one company that bought this coffee. They were a Chinese company. They were like,
Mm.
they'll probably sell some of it, but also give it to their as gifts.
Sure.
To
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So the gift giving thing is a big thing for some of these companies as well, from what I've been told.
Man.
I don't know if whether that's true or not. The validity of that statement,
Okay.
but
For your so you're roasting for your business, what's the highest score you ever purchased?
score wise, probably 91.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to find nice. See, here's the thing. So, like, the the difficult. Well, there's the world of auction lots, like the
Okay.
best of Panama.
Hmm.
But there's also the world of relationships, right? So it's
Okay.
about building relationships and working
Hmm.
with producers that hopefully are producing really high quality coffee.
Hmm.
And but you're always going to pay higher than the average price. Like there's the sea
Okay.
market price that's set by New York,
Hmm.
and then there's kind of an informal differential that's not really stated, but if you
Okay.
go to like a specialty coffee producer, you will invariably pay more for a nice quality coffee than you
Okay.
would from this based on the sea market price, right?
Yep.
But with these producers as well, if you develop your relations with them and you work with them consistently, they'll produce really beautiful coffees for you, and they're not graded, meaning that they're not being sent to like a panel of
Okay.
judges that are that
Sure.
are scoring them. It's up for you
Hmm.
to determine the quality, right? So my role as buyer in my company is really about, and Spro is all about,
Mhm.
and in many respects, it's about what I think is quality, right? What I
Yep.
think people will
Sure.
enjoy.
Mm.
And so really, I'll go taste the coffees in country, work with them, and hopefully we're finding really nice coffees that people enjoy. I
Yep.
don't, I mean, we look for them on a scale, like maybe a lot of them are probably 85s, 87s, if I was to
Yep.
put a score to them. Some are 90, 91.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't necessarily grade them by score. We could
Sure.
sense them out.
Yeah. By the way, if you're just joining us, we are talking to Jay from Ono Coffee on YouTube channel, and also on is your roster name Spro, right?
That's right, Spro Coffee in
Spro
Baltimore.
Coffee, and also Jay's background. Jay was actually a 15-year veteran for World Barista Championship head judge, correct?
That's right. Well, head judge for, well, I guess head judge for almost since like
Okay.
2009,
Okay.
2009. Yeah, I think 2009.
So
Yeah,
again,
15 years.
yeah, 15 years. Jay knows what he's talking about, so that's why I like to have him on this channel.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. That's very kind. That's very kind.
anyway, so okay, so we're gonna see this coffee on next competition, like Brewers Cup competition or barista competition. You think?
I mean, maybe,
Okay.
but here's kind of I think we touched about competition the last
Okay.
time we
Yeah.
talked, right?
Yeah.
And this is where, if we see this particular
Yeah.
two lots in
Yeah.
competition, who's financing that,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
And
Yes.
like that competitor has a tremendous resource advantage over everyone
Yep.
else. So we're
Yep.
talking about that disparity within the competitions
Yep.
again, which
Yes. Yep.
and now and the without a doubt the competitor when presenting to the judges will be like, this is the number one lot of
Yep.
Panama, best of
Yep.
Panama, that was 90 whatever,
Yep.
95,
95. Yep.
65,
Yep. Yep.
and we bought it for $20,000,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You're going to tell all that because you want to impress the judges. And
Yes.
then the question becomes like, the judges now, how impressed will they be by that, and how swayed will they be? Like, how many judges that are sitting in the chairs are also like, well, if this is the coffee, then perhaps I need to give it a better score.
Yes.
Right? That's very difficult position to be in for a judge that is not
Okay.
well seasoned.
Yep.
Right? If you're a more junior judge,
Mhm.
you may be very swayed by that. Even senior judges may be swayed by that. I can't say they won't. So,
I'm impressed, right? If I get to drink, let's say $5,000 per pound coffee, at the competition, I'd be impressed. Come on. I
yeah.
mean,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it's one thing. I don't know. For me, to be honest with you, for me personally, I'd be thinking about disappointment.
sure, of course. I
Like,
don't think, yeah,
how good could this possibly be at a
yeah,
competition when you're under pressure
yep,
to produce, and you only have this amount of coffee to muck up?
yep.
I don't know. I don't know. It would be interesting to experience that, and I would hope that I would be in a position where I would not be swayed heavily by the
You know,
hype around that.
you know. I mean, I'd be very nervous. So again, I'd be very nervous about roasting that coffee. Gosh,
Oh yeah.
talking about pressure. You know.
Well, that just means you can't walk away from the roaster. That's all. You got to
No, I mean,
be
come
there.
on. You got it needs to be perfect. Goodness.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's a great point, because I would probably have to sit there and like, let's say you're using a sample roaster like you mentioned earlier to get that
Yeah.
smaller quantity. Like, I would have to sit there and like maybe do like 3 or 4 roasts with other coffees just to make sure that I
Yeah.
was in the
Yep.
groove before we started.
Yep. That absolutely. And so what's the most expensive coffee you had at the Spro Coffee?
Oh, we don't buy that crazy
Okay.
price of
Okay.
coffee. A lot of our coffees, and this is actually pretty high in the scale of things.
Okay.
Um, 35,
Okay.
$45 a
Per
pound.
That's a lot of money for
It's
green
a
beans,
lot. It's a,
right?
but I mean, you
Yeah,
talk to you see these other
yeah,
auctions, or you talk to some of these
yeah,
other people, and they're like you go to some of the farm producers, and they're like, oh yeah, we
yeah.
started $150 a pound. I'm like, $150? This thing better like do all kinds of stuff to me for
Okay. Sure,
$150.
exactly. Yeah, correct.
Right.
Uh,
But but the thing is, like, what we look for is, as far as pricing with,
mhm,
it has to be commensurate with the effort. Like, for example, we had this one coffee that we produced one year in the
mhm,
Philippines, because one year I was there and with my producer, and we're hanging out talking,
mhm,
and I just was talking about, like, so she at the time she was working with these tribal farmers,
mhm,
right? And these were guys that they would go from the road. It was like a 3 hour hike into the mountain to their plots, where the arabica was kind of growing wild, and they would go up there for like a day or 2 days, and they would harvest the coffee and then
mhm.
carry them back. Like, you couldn't even bring a
Wow,
donkey up there; you had to carry it. It was really,
wow.
like, she was always like, "Do you want to come see the plots?" I was like, "No, no. I mean, look at me. I'm a big guy. I do not belong hiking three. You're and she's a skinny girl. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
your 3 hour hike is going to be my 6 hour hike, right?"
Yep.
And then anyway, so we were talking one year about the coffees, and I said to her, "What do they?" So because she mentioned that, of course, we get the better quality,
Mhm,
and they had leftover. And I said, what did these guys do with the leftover? And
mhm.
she was like, well, they float them in the river. And I was like, what are you
Oh,
talking about? They float them in the river. So they put them in these baskets, these woven baskets, and they float the coffee in the river to wash them.
wow.
And I was like, what in the world are you talking about? And she explained it more. And I was like, wait, 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 wait. I said, next season, that's what we want to do. We want to do this
Wow.
river wash coffee. But in this case, we had to pay a premium. We ended up paying a premium to them
Mhm,
for over, because their coffees were, for Philippine coffees, produced coffees at the time, were like, from her, were like $7, which
mhm.
in country is pretty darn high,
Yep.
right? Like, we were paying, I think, close to $10 a pound
Wow.
for this wash coffee, and
Mhm,
we paid that up front before the season began, because I was like, I will take delivery of the coffee regardless of what happens to it, because I wanted them to do this process. It was something they'd
okay,
never done before. So I was like,
okay.
let's do this process, float this coffee in the river, and let's see what happens. And she said, what if it doesn't turn good? I said, I'll still buy the coffee. I'll still
Okay.
take delivery. I'll pay you up front. That way your producers your farmers
Mhm.
are covered, your costs are covered, and we'll assume that liability. But I think there has to be and the coffee turned out really wonderful, right? It was
Okay.
She's a very meticulous producer, so, like, I don't
Okay.
really, this is one thing, like, I find is that, after you develop relations with certain producers that are super focused on what they do,
Mhm.
it really makes my job as a buyer so much easier, because I don't necessarily have to coach them, or, like,
Yep.
I guess, quote unquote, look over their shoulder. Not that I could look over their shoulder, because I know very little about agriculture.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you develop a relationship, you build uh, that trust over years and harvests, so that, as you move forward, you don't necessarily have, like, I have a, like, with Rusty's Hawaiian Ka'u in Hawaii. It's really just kind of like, well, what would you like to make this year that's interesting? I'll
Yep.
take whatever you want, because I know it's going to be awesome, right? And so, in some respects, it's like that. But whereas when you have newer relationships, or new relationships, you do have to, like, vet it a little bit more.
By the way, so our friend Sal, he used to live in Tucson, now moved to Kona, and
Oh,
he's working for Monarch Coffee.
well, awesome.
Yeah. Have you heard about the Monarch Coffee?
I'm not familiar with Monarch.
Okay.
If they're in Kona, I presume that they're a Kona producer, right?
Yeah. No, no,
Okay.
they do geisha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Coffee, coffee company called, Monarch Coffee Farm. Yeah. They do
Okay.
geisha, all the high-end stuff. Very interesting. Yeah, very
Oh,
interesting
awesome.
there.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
he's a harvest intern for this season. So he's there for
Oh,
like 6 months or so. Yeah, for the harvest season.
I'm curious then, if he's there, at Monarch, and they're doing geisha. Are they grafting the geisha onto other rootstock? Because I remember that some places in Hawaii, in Kona,
Mhm.
would take the Typica, like the Guatemala Typica,
Okay.
and graft it onto Liberica because the Liberica rootstock is a little bit hardy and more resistant to nematodes. Evidently, nematodes
Huh.
in Kona are a bit of a problem. So
I'm
I'm
not
curious. I'm
sure.
curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm trying to have them on the live chat, but I guess they're a farmer's owner. They're out of town, so I know
Oh,
that he need
gotcha,
to get a
gotcha.
permission. But yeah, but is that true? Only only way to get 100% Kona coffee is in Ireland, correct?
Well, I mean, yes and no. So
Because
everything comes back. What I mean by the no part is that everything comes back to the 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 ethics of
okay,
the person you're sourcing coffee from, right? Your roaster.
okay,
How ethical is your roaster? Now, in the state of Hawaii, there is new legislation that is pushing for Kona blends, product that's labeled as Kona blends, to
yep,
be 51% actual Kona coffee,
okay.
right? Um, right now, the blend is requirement is 10%.
10%. Yes, that's if I
10%.
go to grocery store, if I go to local grocery store, I see Kona coffee has 10% on it.
It does
Yeah,
say 10% on it.
does say 10% on it.
Okay, that's good. That's good because that law is only for the state of Hawaii.
Okay.
It doesn't mean anything
Yep.
outside the state. So if the coffee is being shipped to the green, let's say the green coffee is being shipped to a roaster somewhere in in the
Yep.
mainland United States, they can sell a Kona blend. They can sell a coffee that says Kona blend with
Yep.
absolutely no Kona in it.
Oh, no kidding.
Right there, the United States does not have like DOC,
Okay.
AOD type of designations for products. You know, it's only within certain states will have
Okay.
something similar to that. And what you and in so in the state of Hawaii, there are I think it's four categories of Kona or four categories of Hawaii coffees, meaning
Okay.
that each district, Kona, Kau, Maui, I guess Oahu, and Kauai, will have
Okay.
four different grades of coffee. I think there's fancy, extra fancy, prime,
Okay.
and then number one. I think I don't
Okay.
really remember all of this. This is something I don't necessarily have to deal with
Okay.
because I only buy from really one producer in Hawaii.
Okay.
Um, so the three grades, the three top grades, fancy, extra fancy, fancy, and prime,
Okay.
can be exported as Kona coffee from Hawaii and
Okay.
sold as Kona coffee. Everything from number one below can only be exported out of the state as generic Hawaii coffee.
Mm.
However, you can utilize that Kona coffee and sell it within the state of Hawaii, even the number one and subgrades, as 100% Kona.
Huh.
Because I went to many years ago. I was at this coffee shop in Hilo that said $2 Kona coffee, right? $2 for 100% Kona, and I was like, how is that even possible, right? And I went to this place and I had a cup of their $2 Kona,
Mhm.
and it was terrible. It
Nice.
was defect ridden and musty and dirty. It was definitely subgrades
Mhm.
or like number one grade of coffee. So it met the minimum
Yep.
specification for 100% Kona in the state of Hawaii, but it would not have been
Got it.
exported as. So these are some of the things. So when it's asked about like, is it 100%?
Yep.
It really depends on the veracity of the roaster you're buying from.
Got it. Man. Fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Fascinating.
mean, like
Hey,
there was a whole scandal in the '90s with a company called Kona Kai Coffee in
okay.
Kona. They were selling 100% Kona. Evidently, they were selling more Kona
Uh-huh.
than they could produce.
Ah!
And I think they even said people even said they sold more Kona than the entire region produced. And how they did this is that they were importing Colombian coffee
Uh-huh.
and then selling it as 100% Kona.
Yeah, because coming from Kona, right?
What's that? Oh yeah, it came
So,
from there. So yeah, it
exactly.
must be
Yeah,
fine.
hey, hey, must be fine.
Yeah, I noticed
Okay.
that Cameo says that Kau coffee is pretty good too. I totally agree because I do most of the Hawaii coffee that I buy is from
Mhm.
Rusty's Hawaiian Cocoon, and they're
Okay.
always impeccable, always impeccable.
Oh, how's the weather over there? How's the outside? It's pretty hot?
Oh, no, not lately. It's been chilly. Like at night, it's been chilly. Right now, it's probably 82 with cool
Really?
breezes. It's really a pretty day today.
It's about 4 o'clock over there, so you're 3 hours ahead of me. So,
Yes, exactly.
man,
420. 420. 420.
420. Yeah, exactly. I think Dogman really liked that number, 420. Yeah, Dogman is a big time 420 fan. So,
Oh, nice,
yeah.
nice, nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He is a big timer. Hey, so okay, so it comes to okay, man. So a lot to unpack. But by the way, if you're just joining us, I'm talking to Jay from Ono Coffee, and also Jay does a daily live streaming every single morning, 10 a.m. Eastern
10
time.
a.m.
So make sure check it out on Jay's channel. Okay,
Oh,
and
thank you.
also
Thank you for saying.
Jay also owns Spro Coffee, and you can just buy coffee from Jay as well. I'm gonna put the Jay's link as a Spro Coffee too.
Oh,
So
thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
We actually have a
ma-
channel for Spro,
oh, really? Okay,
but I haven't posted to it in like, I don't know, nearly 300 days.
okay,
I used to post to it a lot, but really the focus has been on the main channel lately.
okay.
So,
So who's the main roaster for Spro Coffee?
oh, I am.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
how's the business over there right now? Are you
Well,
pretty busy? Pretty
the
steady?
business
Steady?
the business itself is relatively slow.
Okay.
We have a few like wholesale clients that we're maintaining right now.
Yep.
But I'm opening a new cafe in the fall, so I'm
Okay.
in the midst of. I was just on the phone a little while ago with the permitting office about what they
Okay.
need for the next round of permits. So,
So are you roasting right now, Jay, or are you kind of like in hold pattern?
oh no, we're still roasting every
Okay.
week, and
Okay.
yeah, yeah. My friend has a decent W6 roaster
Okay.
that I've been using lately, and then another
Okay.
friend has the Diedrich IR12.
Okay.
So depending
Uh,
on what we need to do, we borrow those time on those roasters.
so what is your roasting style?
I like medium roasts
Okay, you like
overall.
medium roast. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I like more the Maillard reaction. I like more
Okay.
the development, the sugar
Yeah. Develop.
development,
Yep.
a little bit more
So you.
body, a little bit more sweetness.
Yep. So you are more like traditional type, not the
Yeah, yeah.
very
And
super light.
it's probably because I came up in that era. Like I
Mhm.
came up in the business as third wave was beginning, right?
Yes.
And so the industry was transitioning away from
Yep.
the second wave to
Yep.
the third wave. And this light roasting style didn't really come to into vogue probably at least 5 or 6 years after I had
Yeah.
been in the
Yeah.
business.
So I
So
mean,
I
so
like
you're
that style.
so your style is more coffee tastes like more like coffee rather than coffee tastes like peach.
Yeah, but I'm not against peach, but I would say here's what I think the correlation for me, the way that I look at it is there's a whole world of craft beer lovers who
Yep.
love IPAs. They love
Yep.
hoppy beers. And for them,
Hmm.
the more hops, the better.
Hmm.
Right? They love that. If it tastes like you're drinking marijuana, they love it.
Sure.
I'm not a fan of that stuff. I totally am not a fan.
Uh,
I think that a lot of people that love the IPA hop experience also love the very bright acidic experience
hmm.
from light roasted coffee.
Hmm.
And so I think that's the to me that's the correlation between the two worlds. And I'm not a hop fan, and I don't want bright coffee.
Yep.
I want it to be more developed. I like more development. I like it
Sure.
more classic.
It makes sense, right? Because I wonder is how much influenced by the uh, coffee uh, gear, grinding company or coffee machine company. Because I mean, only way to bring out those wonderful brightness, you have to have different types of grinder. I mean, if they want to come up with a new grinder, obviously it's more for them, more sales for the company as well. Because
Right, right.
those classic, medium to dark roast coffee, you just need like Mazer grinders, you have at home, or any, you know, traditional types of grinder works just fine. But you cannot bring out the best in coffee super light roast coffee from one of those mother. So
Yeah, I guess not. I haven't really tried that. That's a good point.
again, I mean, there's a other segment of coffee industry tailored for that, right? I mean, I have this grinder here. I have optional 01, 102 millimeter flat burr,
Oh,
102.
nice.
Okay, it's really nice, wonderful on light roast coffee. If I'm gonna put like medium roast coffee in it, chocolate note dominate, chocolate note forward, it's
Hmm.
not that great. It's more
Hmm.
bitter because it's more, bring out the more cocoa that the raw cocoa that the chocolate or types of those wonderful tasting notes. It's gonna be
Oh.
minimized there. So it's all depend on the what kind of coffee you drink. I mean that's why I think a lot of traditional coffee drinker, they're not really into the specialty coffee, right? Just like you are drinking tastes like tea, like peach tea or green tea.
Well,
I mean, I
I mean,
think that
I don't know if I would put it that way because, like,
okay.
let's remember that specialty really is just a general category of coffee. It's
Yes.
not,
Yep.
it specialty really is coffee that is graded
Hmm.
above 80 points, and within that world of specialty, there's a whole.
Hold on one second.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hold on. It's
Hope there's
okay.
not going to be a shooting.
No. Hello. Oh.
You guys have questions. I've got my laptop running, so I can kind of see the questions if you ask.
No, no,
Happy to
it's a
talk.
mirror. It's a mirror man.
Oh, nice, nice. I like
Yeah.
my mailman.
Yeah. Yeah. Mirror man just drop out something. Okay. Let's see here. I think not a whole lot of questions, but someone asking you, Virat Kohil? I don't know who that is. Yeah.
You know
Someone
Virat
asking you.
Kohil? No, I'm not familiar
No,
with
no.
that.
Yeah.
System is asking that, right?
Yeah. I don't know who that is
Yeah,
either.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. So what is your best coffee this year, Jay?
That I've sourced.
No, a drink. 2024. Today is end of August. Do you have a memorable coffee this year?
Do I have a memorable coffee? That is a good question.
Yeah.
Honestly, no. I don't have any
Yeah.
memorable. I've had a lot of coffee. I've had. Well, I can't say I've had a lot of coffees this year, but I've had a lot of nice coffee.
Okay.
The one that I got from Capucas from Mari Portillo is very nice.
Okay.
Um, what would be standout coffees for this year? Wow,
Oh, hold on. John, Jay's in
oh,
Baltimore area in Maryland.
that's correct. Baltimore, Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah.
I had very nice Philippine coffee at this place called Teofilo Coffee
Okay.
in what's it called in somewhere in Southern California,
Okay.
Los Alamitos. Is that right?
Okay.
I think that's where it is. It's Teofilo, Teofilo.
Okay.
That guy is crazy too, man. Like I heard about him from the owner of this coffee
Hmm.
place in Chicago called Mano Modern Cafe. And he was
Okay.
like, hey man, when you go to LA, you need to go check out Teofilo. And I was like, all right. So I went there, and this dude is like, he's hardcore. Like he's all about Philippine coffee. And he's like, and I'm talking to him. I'm shooting a video for the channel, which I have still
Hmm.
yet to edit. But this guy is like, we only do Philippine coffees,
Hmm.
which is unheard of in my world. Like it's so difficult to export coffee from the Philippines that I don't know how he does it. But he's actually working on getting a container here. But and he's like, I'm selling for this price and I'm buying it for this price. And I was like, dude, does that even make financial sense? He's like, I don't care. It's like, I'm not here for the money. I'm here to promote Philippine coffee. I was like, whoa, dude, you're amazing. It's like this is awesome. I was like,
You know what? Someone told me. Have you tried the Haitian coffee?
I have
Haitian?
not. I have not. How is that?
Okay. I don't know. Someone tell me actually that's pretty good. But
I
they
mean, I
used to
think
be good.
Haiti, yeah, Haiti
Haiti. Yeah.
has a lot of, of course they have a lot of social issues right now
Yeah.
that makes because I was talking to one of my good friends is Haitian, and
Okay.
he and not that he's totally in a
Mm,
whole different field, but
mm.
right now I think it's very difficult for them to even export stuff out of the
Oh my
country.
God, that's crazy over there right now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
it sounds fairly bad.
yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. So,
Okay,
but
and you see that George's? George's says that I was recently in Paris and paid $40 for an espresso at Cava. Wow. It was good, but not that much better than a similar natural processed coffee I get. Oh, that's
you know what? I mean, I saw the other day James Hoffman did a video, right?
I saw
He
that,
had
the
like
$300 coffee.
espresso, you know.
What'd you think of that?
But I mean, thing is, if he was inside, right? But he's buying the experience, but he couldn't. He was just get it out and drink outside. So I bet you, take out all the experience part, But
I
man, that's
wonder
too
if
bad.
there was much of an experience at that place.
By the last time you and I talked, so did you
Mhm.
went the when you're in Japan, Hideo, well, what that guy's name again?
Oh,
He's the one.
Hideki.
Yeah. Did you went to his coffee shop sample?
I did. I did.
Okay,
Cocoon.
that's right. Yeah. Okay, good. How was the
Yeah,
coffee experience like for you?
it was good. It was good.
Okay,
So, eh, I mean, I will probably say this in the video that I made for I'll be
okay,
making for it. But like,
okay,
you know, I liken it to eating at a place called Alinea in Chicago,
okay.
right? And I don't know if you're familiar with. Are you familiar with Alinea?
No.
Okay, so Alinea is this restaurant in Chicago that the chef came from Thomas Keller's French Laundry.
Oh,
And if you're
yes.
familiar with French Laundry, it's a very
Oh
different
yeah.
experience than French
Yep.
Laundry.
Yep.
This place is very experimental. It's very
Hmm.
when I ate there, I termed it as a cerebral experience, right? It's
Okay.
intellectual eating where they're doing all these like very progressive techniques and food preparations
Yep.
that may or may not make sense typically, but it's an experience to have to kind of increase your vocabulary, so to speak. I think my experience at Cocoon was more like that.
Okay. I'm trying to pull out his coffee shop on YouTube right now, so hopefully I can show you guys
Which
what.
one,
So
Cocoon?
that's yeah. So that's the same location, right?
Yeah,
He
in
did.
Omotesando.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull
Is
the
there a video online for it?
yeah
Oh,
because
nice.
yeah, one of a Korean YouTuber.
Oh, yes. Yes, I saw
He
that video.
yeah, he actually went there and then he actually make a video on it. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
he's
that
yeah,
gives a good overview of the
yeah,
experience.
yeah, his name is An. He's a pretty cool guy.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to find it. If you're just joining us, we are talking to Jay from Ono Coffee. Here we go. And the video is yep. So I'm going to show you guys. This is a very interesting video too. Hold on. And then for his, here we go. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to flip the camera for a second.
Oh, nice, nice.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so you see that? So that's the one, right? That's the one you went?
That's right, that's right. So the interior, as you can see there, it's got this black like
Yep.
hexagons. They're
Yep.
kind of forming uh is it called tetsubin? Like a tetsubin type of traditional Japanese cast iron kettle. So it's almost as though you're inside a kettle,
Yep. Hold on. So
right?
I'm gonna.
Surrounded by the cast iron. And I think there's only enough seating for maybe 6 people, I think, total.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Very very small.
Yeah,
Here
very
we go.
small. Getting yeah. These are these. You step on those. That's their walkway, and as you can see,
Yep.
it looks kind of like a World War II mine,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
submersible mine. But you'll actually climb into the space, like you would climb into like the Boeing Starliner capsule. you have to climb in, which is really kind of an interesting um, twist on the experience.
And then now there's a coffee shop there. He have a beautiful setup. He just bring out the all the fancy equipment he got. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it's very nicely done. It's very very interesting.
And yep, just beautiful bar. Give you is that's the water, right, from this sake maker.
That's right. That's right. So they're pairing the water from the
Yep.
sake makers
Yep.
and shipping them around the country, and also, if I remember correctly, they are serving you the water, the same water that they're brewing with. So they're
Yep.
brewing with the water
Exactly.
and serving it to you as a side.
And so did you had an espresso and filter as well?
I believe so. I believe so. I would have
Okay.
to. I actually, before I make the video, I have to watch the whole footage again to
Okay.
remind myself. But it was a nice. It was nice. It was very nice intellectual experience with coffee.
Hold on one second. Hello.
Yeah, John
What
says
can I
looks
do for you?
crazy. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like it's crazy. Like the interesting thing about the way you get in, like you're climbing into a
Hold on one second.
capsule,
Okay.
is.
Hey, hey, Jay.
Mhm.
Why don't you take over for a few minutes? Okay.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Hold on.
So it's like you're climbing into this capsule, like you see the Apollo astronauts do. But the idea behind that, I think, derives from the old school Japanese tea shops where they would have the entrance to the tea room really small so that the samurai would have to like squiggle in, but they would have to leave their swords behind. That way there would be no fighting amongst, opposing samurai while they're having their tea ceremony. And I think that's part of the derivative where that derives from at Cocoon. But it's really an interesting experience. And they keep it pretty secret. And I did agree, like Mickey, who's the partner of Hide in the video, Mickey was the one that did my presentation because Hide at the time was in Greece during the World Barista Championship last June. And like, Mickey messaged me after the fact. She was like, "Do you mind not including like verbatim what we do?" And I was like, "Because it's going to change." I was like, "Yeah, no problem. Don't have to like show verbatim what we experience because I do realize that places like this will change their presentation seasonally or as they develop new techniques. So, which is why I liken it very much to Alinea. If you guys are familiar with Alinea, that because it is a very, to me, cerebral, intellectual type of coffee experience that is just interesting. VK says Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. No, no, I'm not sure what you mean by that. But Hoon is doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but we're here talking coffee. And if you're just joining us, I'm Jay. I run a channel called Ono Coffee, and this is the Hoon's Coffee channel, and I'm not Hoon, in case you might have not realized that. And yeah, so we're talking coffee. We went to Cocoon, and we were talking earlier today about the Best of Panama auction, where the number one lots, both of natural and washed, sold for $10,000 per kilo. 20 kilos of each lot meant that each of these companies, or each bidding group, spent $200,000 for the coffee. So fairly crazy amounts of money for coffee, but interesting. And if you're interested in trying to get a taste of it, if you follow Paradise Coffee Roasters out of Hilo, Hawaii, evidently Miguel was telling me that they're planning on doing some kind of tasting event in the future so that what remaining coffee that they have not sold to their bean buyers, they're going to do some kind of tasting event where people can taste the coffee. And I believe it's going to be a brewed event. So there may be the opportunity, if you're interested, to go and try this $10,000 per kilo coffee. I imagine it's going to be in Hawaii. I don't know any details other than that. John says, "You see green beans." I see green beans.
All right.
I guess I do.
So,
Oh, there
so
you are.
I'm
What's up,
back.
man?
So I had to take care of some customer, but yeah.
Nice, nice. Customers are important. Customers are important.
All right. So let's see here. We have a George talking about the $30 for 200 gram bag. Okay.
Oh, that's right. George says, I wonder if they charge more because they use a high-end grinder like EG1 because the coffee itself was $30. Oh, that could be. I mean, one thing you got to bear in mind is that different coffee shops will have different economies of scale because, like, for example, let's say in Paris, I imagine, and I'm only guessing now, that a shop that is located in the seventh is going to have a very different financial reality than
Mm.
a shop that's in the 20th, right? Because they're just
Yep.
totally, the seventh is very posh and very,
Mhm.
fantastic. Where, or if you're a shop in a banlieue in the
Yep.
suburbs, so yeah, I don't. But $30 was it? $40, but was it good? I guess it wasn't that good though. Huh?
So okay, so when you're in Japan, whether his coffee shop, you have to pay for that, or if you pay for it,
Yes,
how much was it?
yes, it was $120.
Oh, buck 20.
Hmm.
Wow, man, he really charged you for that. Goodness, man,
Yeah,
that is a that what is that experience worth the money?
yeah, I would think so.
Okay, I mean,
I think so.
he's a you're a brew by the world barista champion, so
Well, he wasn't the
um,
one that made it for me. The Hide was actually in Greece for the
oh
World
he
Championship. Then
oh
when I was there, I had Mickey.
okay
I like Mickey. Mickey and I are old friends, so I'm happy to
okay
hang out with her.
okay,
Um, which was perfectly fine. Like I don't see that there would have been a difference in experience with Hide over Mickey.
got it,
Actually, I would say that I'm closer and better friends with Mickey than I am with Hide. So I,
got
I
it,
would think that my experience was better.
okay.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, so obviously, do yours coffee was memorable?
Was the coffee memorable? Wow,
Yeah,
it was good.
it was good. Okay, obviously
Do
he
I
was
like
using
okay?
yeah.
So like, was the coffee memorable? I mean, no, I would have to say no because I'm
Okay,
sitting here now, and if you were to ask me what was the coffee like, I don't remember. I
okay,
will have to
yeah,
watch. I will have to watch
okay,
my own footage to
sure,
give you notes.
yeah,
But like, compare that to the espresso that I had at Wan Wan, like a week or 2 weeks before
hmm
that. I remember that clearly, vividly.
I know you told me
Like
about that.
so,
Yeah,
um, but is so the question that I think then becomes like, was it worth it? Like you're asking, and it's like I said, I'm quite, I have been rather specific in how I've described it, right? In that it is to me a cerebral intellectual experience
hmm
where I think the money was well spent because of that.
got it.
Right, because it's a whole nother way of thinking of coffee, of experiencing coffee. They are trying to do things that are very different than a lot of places.
Yeah,
Like they're using approaches that you would see from like tea houses. So
yep,
they've got like wagashi offerings to go with
hmm
the coffee. Now they're doing stuff that's really different. So there's going to be times as you're pushing the
yep,
envelope that maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't. It's not like a wow, this is an incredible 1 plus 1 equals 3 moment.
yeah,
But I think that's part of the journey, right? Um, so that's why I have been very specific that I think it's intellectual and cerebral and worth it from that perspective. Like if I was looking for a place that was like that spoke to me on a
hmm
guttural soul level, that I was like,
yep,
oh my god, this is the greatest coffee experience of
okay,
my life. No, it's not that. It
okay.
was not that.
How long was the session?
I think we were there for like at least 2 hours, maybe three.
Wow, okay. I mean, that's the part of the menu, session that time, or that's something you just hang out for 3 hours.
No, no, it was
So,
there was a little bit of hanging out after, but not
okay,
too much. Like
okay,
Mickey and I are friends, but she's
yeah,
not, her and I aren't hanging out,
okay,
smoking cigarettes or something like that.
sure.
That we're not doing
Mhm.
something like that. But um, I believe, again, I would have to look at the actual footage to learn to remember
Sure,
exactly how long. But it was not like a quick thing. It was something you sat
sure.
there
You just
and
sat there. Okay,
you were
good.
taken care of
Yeah,
and given an experience over an
yeah,
amount of time.
okay. So, I mean, that's not too bad, actually. I
No, no. I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
I guess, and $120 is not. I thought was. I thought it was money well spent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, we're not talking about you just sit down, brew your coffee, and you're out. Okay, 10 minutes. So
right.
we are, yeah, you are buying for the experience for the $120. I think that's, you know, where money spent there.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree.
Okay.
And then
Anyway.
George is asking,
Hmm.
do I think that restaurants in the future will offer specialty coffee as dessert pairing? I mean,
I don't know.
some restaurants do already.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the difficult part, and this is something that I talk about with
Yeah.
restaurateurs every once in a while, is that
Mm.
one of my good friends, who's actually one of my clients, also,
Yeah.
he's like, even he's like, here I am selling an experience to his
Yep.
guests. I mean,
Yep.
that's what he's saying.
Hmm.
It's very difficult for the restaurateur to care about a $5 coffee that he's charging
Yes.
for brewed
Yeah.
coffee at the very end of the meal when they need to turn the table and get them the hell out of there so they can put
Yeah.
another
Yep.
seat in the chair. And I'm like, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So it's unless you have an operator that really sees a value in it. Like a great example would be Gary Menez, who's the chef owner of Le Comptoir in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Now, in his situation, you're making a reservation, you're sitting down, and you're having a
Hmm.
full meal, and
Yep.
then you're going to have a really nicely prepared coffee
Hmm.
at the very end. But since you have the seat for the night, there's no pressure on them to turn that
Yep.
seat, right? So and also Gary is very into coffee, like he's super into it. So he wants people to like experience the coffee that he loves.
But the real question is, are American people ready for that? Specialty coffee. I mean, I'm talking about 90% of our population. Could be
I
95.
think so.
You
I
think
mean,
so?
my whole thought is that, I think it takes exposure, right? Like for example, Spro Hamden, our
Okay.
second shop,
Hmm.
when we built it very intentionally with to be very much a lot of people said it looked like a lab. It was very scientific
Yeah.
looking. It was it's very stark. Like
Uh-huh.
there was no paintings, there was no music, there was no plants, there was no Wi-Fi. Everything was rather austere. Not austere, but like nicely done. Like we had nice, empire style, like, cabinetry and wood tones. It meant to be warm, but it was also very focused, right? And it was meant to be a little bit intimidating so that when you walked in as a guest, you would be like you would automatically know that this is not the normal like coffee joint.
Yep.
So you'd be you'd be hopefully off put by it, right? You'd be like a little bit like disoriented.
Yep.
But the other side of that was we always were about we need people to try something different.
Hmm.
So our hospitality was really all we were all about hospitality, always like welcoming
Yep.
because we realized that people would be off put by that initially, but we have to overcome them with hospitality and hopefully high quality. And
Hmm.
as people tried the coffee, I think they responded well. It's just a matter of being exposed to it. Most people are exposed to, Maxwell House,
Yes.
Nescafe,
Yep.
Nespresso, things like that. So the coffee is not as great as it could be, but I think once people really get experience to it, and that's another thing. Like one thing that our approach was really about, we want people to try great coffee. Hopefully, we're
Yep.
providing great coffee as a regular course of what we do. But we don't want to tell you. We're not trying to put that in your face. And especially in the earlier days of the third wave, baristas are very excited about their coffee and they wanted to tell.
Oh, I think we lost Jay there. I wonder. I think we lost Jay. Okay.
Okay,
Oh, you're back.
I'm so
Good. It's
sorry.
okay.
Somebody was calling. I had to
Yep.
delete.
Yep. It's all right. It's all right.
Um, but like I was saying, so the people would come and we wanted them to try really great coffee. So we have to let them come in. Oh, I'm sorry. Baristas were
Mhm.
always telling people, we want to educate, educate.
Yeah.
If I think about myself, if I go into a new place, man, I don't want you to tell me, try to educate me. I just want coffee, right? Give me
Yep.
coffee. And so we wouldn't give any education unless you asked. We'd just be like,
Yep.
"Do you have? I'd like a coffee. Here you are." right? We have a coffee ready for you at all times. Here's your coffee. Take it away. Get out. Go enjoy your life. And just get out of here, right? And hopefully, as they were drinking their coffee, wherever they were like, this is actually pretty darn good. And they would come back. And then they would, and again, when they came back, here's your coffee, get out. They drink it, they like it more. At some point in time, well, sometimes maybe never, but at some
Mm.
point in time, our bet was that they would come back in and be like, hey, I've really been enjoying your coffee. Why is that? Now we can talk to you and get deep with you about the coffee and why it's better than other places.
So for
But
you,
until
you
that
like,
point,
yeah, for you like to plant the seed first.
yeah, because to me, it's about building trust, right? Like
Hmm.
I could tell you all kinds of stuff, but if you don't know me from Adam, you're
Yep.
like, who's this dude? Like,
Yep.
who cares if I've got like 25 years in the
Sure.
business?
Yeah.
Who cares about that? But if you don't know me, you're like, well, who's this blowhard?
Yep. Yep.
Which is probably half your audience today. They're probably, who's this jerk off? But that's to me is the game that we play with like guests, is that they have to come in and you have to build that trust over time,
Yep.
so that as they return again and again and they see that we're consistent with what we're offering, we're consistent with our experience and our drinks, that then they can begin to trust us and rely upon what message we may have for them.
Man, that sounds wonderful. I think we're gonna leave it at that. Man, we've been
Right.
talking for, man, 75 minutes, hour
Okay.
and a half. Fantastic.
I still have to make
Uh,
this battery last for tonight's live stream.
well, you do another live streaming tonight?
Yeah, so every Thursday night I have another channel called the Ono Live channel
Yeah.
where
Okay.
I put like all my cigar and coffee
Yeah.
live streams. And so we do that every Thursday night at 8 p.m.
I mean, you do. Do you bring any gas to your live streaming?
On the live streaming for the cigar and the coffee and cigar one,
Okay.
we do, but it's usually in-person guests.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, but Jay, you know so many coffee people. Have you thought about having some more guests on your morning show?
I do, but it's actually difficult to get coffee professionals to like get the time to do that.
I mean, for you, it
Because
just takes no time.
a lot of my
Uh-huh.
friends that I would turn to, they're like away. They're traveling somewhere. Like one of my good friends, Scott, he's like
Uh-huh.
in Taipei right now. It's like,
Okay.
so that's one of the big difficulties is like trying to get people together
You
to
know,
do it.
I know. I mean, for me, it's as long as the people has a self-service, let's go. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it takes 10 minutes. You know, but so again, so if you are joining us, I'm talking to Jay. Has a YouTube channel called Owner Coffee, and also Spro Coffee for his coffee business, and also you got a evening channel. So I'm gonna put the Jay's YouTube channel on the description section
Oh,
as well,
thanks.
and also make sure try out the Spro Coffee too. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
and then
gonna
there's a
put the
couple questions that I see from
yeah
people,
yeah. Go
if you
ahead.
don't mind.
Oh yeah, go
Like
ahead.
Keone's asking, what is the most interesting cafe experience in the United States? I think to me, from my viewpoint, there are two
Yep.
places in the United States today that I think are the very best and worth, if you can swing it, I think it's worth your effort to go there.
Mhm.
There is Koana Coffee on the Big Island in a town called Mountain View. Actually, this week Koana is celebrating their 5th anniversary. And then there's Cafe de Bola in Salt Lake City. I think those are the two most interesting cafes in the United States today.
So that's kind of like Michelin star types of coffee shop in US. That's worth the trip.
Worth the trip, but I wouldn't say that they're necessarily Michelin level
Okay.
approaches. They're
Okay.
very well, they're very good experiences. I mean, they're like these are operators. They're both kind of similar in the fact that there's just one person operating the whole place,
Yep.
right? And they're super focused on what they're doing, and they're super
Hmm.
focused on giving you an interaction. Like if you go to see Brian at Koana,
Yep.
like I remember my only trip there was 2 years ago. I'm standing in line. There's
Hmm.
probably like 6 or 7 people in line, and he's focused on you. It's only him.
Hmm.
He's focused on you for as long as it takes. I'm number 7 in line. Man, I'm waiting God knows how
Yep.
long because he's focused on whoever's there, and he gives them as much time as they want.
Wow.
And so the coffee's really wonderful. Like he works with Miguel at Paradise to
Hmm.
come up with like crazy like coffees, very progressive stuff. And then but he's there. He's in the moment with you. Like everybody else, be damned. I'm with you at the moment. And then when you're finished and you go and enjoy your coffee, the next person, he's on you as well.
So
Which
that's coffee shop. If you're in Hawaii, definitely worth to make the trip.
I think it's worth the trip just to go there.
Okay.
Like not just
And
if you're in Hawaii, but like if you wanted to discover like wonderful coffees
yeah,
in the United States, those two, him and Cafe de Bola, are worth making an effort to go to.
sounds good. Okay, so let's leave it there. And then thanks, Jay, for
All right,
joining us this afternoon. I'm gonna talk to you soon. Okay.
all right, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Bye, Jay.
All right, dude, thanks for having me. Have a great one.
Thank you. You too. So Jay, so this is Jay from Owner Coffee and also Spur Coffee as well. I'm gonna put the Jay's link, so make sure to check out Jay's coffee business as well. He is, I mean, I know Jay for quite some time now, and again, he is, I mean, pro, so he knows his stuff. All right, guys, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow.